This is our dream, and we work diligently to accomplish it, but this work comes at a cost. Today's rift between the haves and have-nots in higher education, as described by a recent article published by Business Week, is an indicator of the crisis our nation in the US is going through. We should all take pride in the accomplishments of America's great private universities, and we all know that the core of the success, I should say, of the American Research University has been the balance that we have enjoyed so far between privates and publics. The nations, however, need for a highly trained knowledge workforce and for the next generation of ingenuity and genius to drive America's economic, technological, and cultural leadership cannot be met by a handful of small to medium-sized private universities that teach an even diminishing proportion of our college students as our national population grows. The powerful academic research engine that has transformed the world, that drives much of the US economy, and that is crucial to national efforts to withstand and thrive among the massive forces of globalization, will not survive without our public institutions supporting it. Have we decided to remove President Johnson's badge of honor and shy away from our determination to provide all our citizens the same quality and same standards of learning? Will the broad base of superb science education distributed across our nation's public and private universities survive the funding gap that concentrates all the advantages in the elite few private universities? What is at stake in these questions is not just the competitive disadvantage of public universities lacking the resources to compete for high-powered faculty and expensive research projects. What is at stake is the distinctly American balance of excellence in education and research across public and private institutions. A balance that has made higher education in the United States the world leader and has provided powerful support not only for our prosperity as a nation, but also for our democratic ideals, values, and freedoms. In recent publications, higher education leaders in the US allude to a race for survival among universities. But it's not simply the public research universities that are in danger. It is our nation itself. We're speaking about global competition and our ability to lead both economically as well as socially. But we will fail in this competition if we allow ourselves to lose the values that have made us the nation we are. Great nations make a commitment to educate their people and enable them to become responsible citizens and social and economic leaders regardless of their wealth and social status. We have recognized the importance of research in higher education and reap huge benefits from it. We have committed our nation to making higher education accessible, and we have worked very hard to act on these principles. Public and private research universities alike have benefited tremendously from public investments at both state and federal levels, intended to honor this goal. The public research universities are taking serious steps to extend their missions and to expand access to all citizens, often participating in economic development, using their own limited resources to such an extent that they risk their financial integrity. But the question is what our private institutions are doing during this time of crisis. If a balance between privates and publics is so critical to the success of a nation in terms of education, what is the role that private universities are willing to take? What level of responsibility are they willing to accept in securing the well-being of a nation, as it is supported by the unique American balance of excellence in public and private education? And what will the response be of the federal government in this national crisis? What will be the great policy statement of our time that matches the power and significance of higher education, of the Morrill Act, the GI Bill, the NDEA, or the Morse Green Bill? Should, for example, the federal government provide millions of dollars in financial assistance to students who attend a university which could provide this assistance independently At a time when resource disadvantaged public research universities are reaching deeply into their own resources to provide financial aid for qualified students who need it, does it seem wise to give students state and federal dollars that they then turn over to astonishingly wealthy private universities that could afford to provide that aid on their own without compromising their academic quality? These are some tough questions, but I think we need to allow ourselves to discuss them and debate them. In short, the widening gap between the funding base of private and public universities belongs to a dense constellation of political, economic, social, and educational concerns basic to the American society. The growing wealth of the elite privates will enable those few institutions to do their fundamental work of teaching and research better. But the relative impoverishment of the great public universities threatens to upset the public-private balance, which is the core of what has made higher education in the United States so strong and so unique. The ultimate stakeholder in sustaining that balance is the nation and its well-being, and the stakes are high. So with that, I would like to finish with this question that I would like to pose, and I'm sure there will be a lot of very critical considerations as those questions are tried to be answered. But I think that debate is very critical as we are at these crossroads of defining the future of higher education in the US. And I believe the rest of the world can learn a lot from these debates, as I also truly believe that when it comes to higher education, there is not one really model that fits all. A successful educational system, and particularly the one that I know very well in the US, does really reflect very strongly the specific culture of the US as a nation. There's a lot to be learned from that system, but it will be a mistake to believe that it can be transported or imported to other places. It can only be used to learn from, and I think the best thing that many other countries will need to do is to learn how to create a similar of their own that really fits their own needs and reflects on their own very specific cultures. Thank you.